It all started July 20th, 1996, in Dayton, Ohio. I was the firstborn from my parents and the first grandchild from my grandparents. As you can guess, I was very spoiled by everyone. I got to spend lots of time with my family and got lots of attention and gifts. Family is a huge part of my life, and I love my family and spending time with my family more than anything. When I was a baby, if anyone other than my family tried to hold me or watch me, I would throw a huge fuss and cry until someone from my family came back for me. Looking back on my early life and literacy, it was hard to find pictures of me reading or work from when I was young. However, even though I may not have those things, I have a few very influential people that helped me develop literary skills and become the person I am today. My mom was the most important person in my life when I was young, and she still is today. She taught me so many life lessons and has shaped me into the person I am today. My mom encouraged me to do what I love. From a young age, she encouraged me to play and be social, which helped me to learn social skills. She also taught me the importance of reading. She would sing songs and lullabies with me all the time. I remember learning the ABCs with my mom and singing them all the time in the car, as well as the Itsy Bitsy Spider and the mouse. My dad is the greatest guy that I know. While he spent much of his time at the office working as an attorney, he made sure to be home every night to read me a bedtime story. My dad is a huge sports guy and is a huge reason that I play sports to this day and am the person that I am. He coached my very first basketball team and many teams after that. My dad and I have very similar personalities, and sometimes we can both be hard-headed. But one thing my dad always did was push me to be my best in school. When it came to writing and reading in my school years, he would help me with my writing and make sure that I was understanding what I was doing. To this day, I still send papers to my dad to edit and help me with my schoolwork. While my mom and dad were and still are huge influences in my life, the two people that I believe impacted my literacy journey the most was my grandma and grandpa Connor. I was lucky enough to have them live right down the street from me, which allowed me to go to their house all the time and spend time with them. Like I said before, I was the first grandchild, so I was pretty spoiled. At my grandma's house, my grandma and I would sit outside on the porch and read all the time. Sometimes she would read to me, especially when I was younger, and sometimes I would read to her. When I wasn't reading with my grandma, I was hanging out with my grandpa, making games and singing songs. My family is Irish, and there is a song called the Unicorn Song, and I will never forget learning the song and dance to that song with my grandpa. My grandma kept a library of books out on her porch for us to read. Many of the books that were in her library were Dr. Seuss books. I was obsessed. We read these books over and over again until we were sick of one, and then we moved on to the next. One thing that I think was cool about the books my grandma had was that some of them were books that she had kept from when my mom and uncles were little and reading books. When she told me that when I was a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. My absolute favorite character when I was growing up was Scooby-Doo. I was in love. In my room, I had a little library of books that I would read, and right next to my library was my huge Scooby-Doo pillow. I would pick books out of my library and read them to Scooby as if he was listening, while wearing my Scooby-Doo pajamas, of course. While I was lucky to have one set of grandparents down the street, my other grandparents lived in Florida, so we only got to see them once or twice a year. However, they love to read, and when I was young, they would always send me books, especially Madeline books, to show me that they are thinking of me, and they would always write a message on the inside cover, for me especially. I still have many of these books today that remind me of them. Another important person in my literacy journey is my little sister, Libby. She came along 2 years after me, and she was, and still is, my best friend. Growing up, we spent most of our time on the field or the court, playing whatever sport was in season. But when we weren't playing sports, we were in the basement playing together. As a big sister, I was always helping her to understand different concepts and read different things. My dad would read us our bedtime stories together, and I always insisted that I could read the books to Libby by myself, and that Dad was not needed. When we got older, we each had our own bedrooms, but Libby still slept in my bed every night. We would stay up late reading stories under the covers or playing games, and then pretended like we were asleep when we would hear my mom coming. We thought we were so sneaky. We were inseparable, and were always learning together. When I was 4, I got a baby brother, and he was my own personal baby doll. I wanted to hold him and play with him 24/7, read to him and sing to him. I like to think that I taught him everything that he knows. When it was time to start school, I was so excited to go and spend all day with my friends. I went to St. Albert Great, and I loved school from an early age, especially kindergarten. Kindergarten was my favorite, and honestly most memorable still to this day. I think a big part of that is because of my teacher, Mrs. Hankey. She was the best. She was so understanding of all students and their abilities in the classroom. One thing in particular I remember learning was the letter people, and going on scavenger hunts to find the people in the school, and then spending the whole week learning about each letter. I loved when we got to bring the books home and share them with our parents. I always took very good care of my letter books and kept them in alphabetical order in a special place in my room. Being the oldest grandchild definitely had its benefits. I'm the oldest of 10 grandchildren, and I'm blessed that they all live close to my home in Dayton. The best part about having all of these cousins was using them as my students in my pretend school. The best part of the end of the school year was when the teacher was throwing away all her materials she didn't use or posters in the class. I would always get to take them and use them for my pretend school in my basement. I had the best pretend school ever. Almost every day, especially in the summer, I would pretend to be the teacher and dress in my nice clothes and have my sister, brother, and cousins be my students. Sometimes my sister would get to be my assistant, but only if she was being nice. From a young age, I loved everything about being a teacher and always dreamed to be just like my teachers in school and have my very own real classroom. As you can see, family is the most important thing in my life. The life lessons I have learned and the experiences and opportunities I was given at a young age were unforgettable, and all thanks to these people. Without the help of all of them, I would not have learned the literacy skills that I did or been prepared for the rest of my academic career. So thank you, Mom, Dad, Grandma and Grandpa Connor, Grandma and Grandpa Bazelak, Libby, Connor, Mrs. Hankey, and everyone else that influenced me. I will always remember what you taught me.